This is Duke University.
Duke University Paralegal Studies Certificate Program Information Session Webinar. My name is Stephanie Plowman. I'm the Program Coordinator for the Duke program. With me this evening is Phaedra Kelly from Duke University, the Program Manager. What we are going to do tonight is talk about the paralegal profession in general, then get into the specifics of the Duke program, and then talk about registration, finances, all of those good things, and then of course open up to questions at the end. Now, this system is very, very sensitive, so just one housekeeping matter at the moment. Because it is very sensitive, everybody except for Phaedra and myself are on mute. So while we do welcome your questions and are ready, willing, and able to answer those questions, we do ask that you type them into the questions box. You can see a questions box on your GoToWebinar toolbar. If you type your questions into that box, they'll pop up onto my screen and I will read them out loud. So with all of that in mind, let's get started. All right, a little bit about the profession in general first. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that the paralegal profession is projected to grow by about 8% between 2014 and 2024. Now, given everything that's been going on in the economy the last 7, 8, 9 years or so, this is a fairly good rate of growth. A lot of what goes into that is that in the past, over the past years, attorneys have found that, or law firms have found that they have been unable to keep up with the salaries of their young attorneys or legal associates. But the work was still there and someone had to do it, so enter the paralegals. Paralegals are uniquely situated to do essentially the same type of work as a young associate, but for, of course, advising clients and going to court. But as far as the legal research is concerned, legal writing, handling clients and such, paralegals have been able to step in nicely and do that work for attorneys and at law firms. There are also certain, for lack of a better word, and what I like to refer to as niche areas of law where paralegals are uniquely situated to have a lot of autonomy and a lot of responsibility. Some areas of law that can be a little bit form heavy, which are great for paralegals: real estate, bankruptcy, intellectual property. Also, immigration law is a wonderful area of law for paralegals if you're ready, willing, and able to, of course, keep up with the ever-changing immigration laws. You will be certainly a boon to any immigration law firm. So job opportunities are always expected to grow in those areas of law, and paralegals can get a lot of great responsibility and get a lot of great work. Now, here we're looking at the paralegal profession in North Carolina. It is considered a bright outlook statewide, paralegals and legal assistants. So that is wonderful, knowing that there are a lot of paralegal jobs that are out there in the state of North Carolina. And in 2016, the paralegal profession was considered a North Carolina star job. So we can see here paralegals and legal assistants, the average annual openings are 338. So that is a very good number as far as professions are concerned, and of course as far as our paralegals are concerned in getting out there and getting great experience in the legal profession. Okay, now we're going to talk about the specifics of the Duke program. So I am going to pass things off to Phaedra Kelly at Duke, who is going to talk about the program. So Phaedra, whenever you're ready.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending the webinar. So this is just a quick comparison. We do have an online paralegal program that you could also consider taking, and I just wanted to discuss the differences between the two real quick, just so you know it's there as an option if you decide that the classroom program isn't going to work. The online program is self-paced and student-driven, and you have a year to complete it. There's no specific deadlines for assignments and exams, and you have an instructor who's basically answering your questions, providing feedback, and grading your assignments. So it's a little more self-paced, obviously, than a classroom program, and you have a little longer to complete it. Our classroom program we offer here at Duke 3 times a year with spring, summer, and fall sessions. Certainly you have interactive personal instruction in all of the classes. You get the opportunity, of course, to network with fellow students and local attorneys because all of our instructors are local attorneys. And the classroom program is approved by the North Carolina Paralegal Certification Board. And what this means is if you complete our program successfully, you can then apply to the NC board to be the NC bar to be a certified paralegal. And there's an exam you take, and that's a process itself, but we are an approved school for starting that route. Next, please. Our program is in Smith Warehouse, which is a beautiful old converted warehouse that's now classroom and office space at Duke. It's very convenient. It's really close to, if you know Durham at all, on the one hand, 9th Street, which has a lot of restaurants and shops, and on the other hand, downtown Durham. And we have gated parking for the students. Parking is included in the tuition, and it's close to the entrance. We do have security guards since patrolling the warehouse. It's a pretty safe space, in other words, which is good because many of your classes are going to be at night. Next, please. This is just some photos of the classroom and the lounge area. There's a little gift shop that's open sometimes when you'll be there. But you also have access to a little lounge area that's the Duke Continuing Studies lounge area that has like a refrigerator and a microwave. So you can bring things to snack on and a little place to take breaks and stuff like that. Next, please. And the program itself lasts about 4.5 months. It starts Monday, August the 28th, and ends Thursday, January the 11th, 2018. For the most part, the fall and the spring programs are evening programs. They generally meet Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 6 to 10 p.m. And then we also have occasional Saturday classes that generally meet 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The weeks that you have a Saturday class, we cut one of the weekday classes. So there's never a week where you have more than 3 classes, just so you know. Next, please. And this is kind of getting into the curriculum itself. The main part of the course is Essential Skills, which is your introduction to the law. And this is going to be a host of needed information. You're going to learn about court structure, legal terminology, law or office etiquette. Ethics is certainly a part of that. And then you really get into the nitty-gritty of legal writing and legal research, which is, of course, the bulk of what you would be doing as a paralegal. And there's one instructor for this part of the course. There's a bundled textbook that includes your online legal research and access to the online site that Stephanie is going to tell you a little bit about in a little bit. And then that's the main core part of the curriculum. And then there's 4 substantive areas of the law that you focus on. And we choose these based on what the North Carolina Bar is focusing on for their exam. And these, of course, very standard areas of the law that paralegals really need to know. And so we focus on contract law, real estate law, family law, and tort law. And for those courses, you'll have a new instructor for each course, and then an instructor who specializes in that area of the law. And there'll be a separate textbook for each of those courses. And then the different kinds of styles that you'll see in terms of teaching, there'll be some lecture, discussions, demonstrations, and you'll have both independent and group projects. And then you'll be graded on quizzes and exams, but also there'll be a lot of writing assignments, especially in the essential skills portion. And you'll be doing a lot of the kind of legal writing that you would be doing as a paralegal. Next, please, Stephanie. The other part of the curriculum is the survey classes and the online support. The survey classes, there's no textbook, and they're not actually for a grade. We offer these basically because these are, again, more areas of the law that are likely to be tested on the NC bar exam, and they're important parts of the law for you to know as a paralegal. And the focus, of course, is business law, wills, estates, and trusts, criminal law, constitutional law, and then we also have a one-day class called Employment Strategies. And in this course, you will have the opportunity to meet with a career specialist, and you will also have the opportunity to submit your resume to this person and get individual feedback about that. But you'll get a lot of helpful information about how to find a job as a paralegal and what is it like to work in a law office. And the afternoon of that session, you also get to meet two panelists who are former Duke's paralegal students who now work as paralegals in law firms, and they'll tell you about their experiences. The other part of the curriculum is the online support. It's paralegal space mainly, and it's various source resources and interactive study support. You are expected to get on paralegal space and follow it along at your own pace. The curriculum mimics a lot of the essential skills that you're learning. It reinforces kind of what you're learning in the classroom. And the other part of that online support is Lexis Advance and Westlaw. You will have access to both of these sites. These are the two main legal research sites that, pretty much every law firm is going to be using one of these sites. Next, please. Oh, I'm going to turn it back over now to Stephanie.
Yes, you are. Thank you so much, Phaedra, and thank you for the wonderful introduction to paralegal space. So, as Phaedra mentioned, in conjunction with your on-ground classes, we do have a wonderful website called paralegalspace.com. Now, at the outset, just as you can see from this slide right here, it is a communications portal among instructors, administrators, and students. You'll see recent announcements, recent messages on the right-hand side. And over here on the left-hand side, you'll see a series of links, some of which we are going to talk about right now. But as we move forward, the first link we are going to look at is the resources link, and this is where you will find resources that your instructors will post for you for each one of your classes. Now, this isn't the main area of the site where you will find study support. We're going to get to that next. But again, this is an area where, as you can see, you'll find timesheet templates. You will keep track of your quote-unquote billable hours when you are submitting your essential skills assignments in that particular class, essential skills PowerPoints, manuals, and then various other resources to assist you as you are working through the materials in the program. However, the main area of support, and I'm actually just going to go back to this slide for a moment. The main area of support you will find under the Essential Skills Support tab. You'll also find tort law support and contract law support for your main classes in the program. But this is where you will find support that tracks each one of the chapters in your essential skills books, and then of course also torts and contracts. Now, what we recommend is that you read the material prior to coming to class, come to class and listen to and participate in the lectures, and then work through the corresponding support. Now, the support that you'll find online, and it's all broken down by segment, so you will work through it segment by segment, and you'll see in your books and on your syllabus as well how the segments are broken down, so you can ensure you are working through the correct support. However, you will find all sorts of support to build upon those materials you are learning in class. So right here you can see some information about court structure, federal and state court structure. We have interactive support, exercises that you can work through and click through. We have charts, tools, demonstrations, you name it, it's probably in here in the support and here to assist you as you are working through these materials. Now, learning about the law can be like learning a foreign language, and not just because there's a lot of Latin involved. So it's really important that you work through the support. It is there for you. It is there to assist you. It's there to build upon what you're doing in class, to review what you're doing in class, and also to help you pinpoint what areas you may need a little more help on and where you may already be experts. But it is incredibly helpful. And, you know, the more you practice, the better you are. And that really applies to the law, too. Again, as I mentioned, it can be like learning a foreign language. So certainly practicing as much as you can with the various concepts and the terms that you're going to be reading about and discussing in class are incredibly helpful to you. Now, in addition to the support that tracks each one of the chapters in the books, we also have additional labs on demand, as we call them, to assist you with citations, legal research, and legal writing. So here is an interactive citation from the Citations Lab that you can work through. Complete the citation by typing it in, and you can practice writing and reading both federal and state citations, which is very important when it comes to legal writing and legal research. Citations being the series of letters and numbers that you see after a case name. It lets you know where to find that case, what court the case was decided in, when it was decided in, and just by looking at that, you're able to tell whether this is a case that you can rely upon in your legal research. So it is very important to understand citations. Again, all sorts of support that you can find in the Essential Skills support. We like to keep it interesting. We'll throw in some legal cartoons. We don't want it to be the same thing every time, so we want you to, you know, to certainly have fun while you are learning. We also have tons of practice exams, mock exams, Quizlets that you can take as many times as you want within each segment. Now, these mock exams and practice exams and such, they are just for you. They're for your practice. So again, you can pinpoint what areas you may need some more help in and what areas you may be experts in. When you take the mock exams, you will get instant feedback. As you can see right here, you will find out what the answer is, of course, whether you are correct, and of course, why the correct answer is in fact the correct answer, where you can find this information in your book and an additional study link for this concept in the event that you need some additional help. So you will find these practice exams within all of the segments within the study support, so you can practice the concepts that you are learning. Now, I mentioned before within the Labs on Demand, in addition to the Citations Lab, we also have a Legal Research Lab. Part of that Legal Research Lab is what we like to call the Law Library Lab. This is an area of the site where you're not going to do actual searchable research as you would in a brick-and-mortar law library or on Westlaw or Lexis, the two main legal databases law firms, attorneys, paralegals use to research research authority, and we'll talk about those databases in a minute. But it is an area of the site where you can familiarize yourself with the types of materials you will find online or in a law library, so you know how to navigate through them. How do you find what you need to find, and then how do you use what you found in your legal writing? So when you're working through the Law Library Lab, you'll click on whatever book you want to take a look at in the stacks. That book will open up, and over here on the right-hand side, you can learn everything you ever wanted to know and then some about this particular book and these materials. Again, how to use them in your legal writing, whether they're whether they are primary or secondary authority, and how to find what you need to find. Do you first start in the table of contents? Is there an index? Where do you go? Being an efficient researcher is, of course, an incredibly important attribute of a paralegal, so you do want to take advantage of these research tools on the site so you can reach that level of efficiency and proficiency. You can zoom in, take a look at the cover, learn about the index, the volumes, etc. Just get a sense of what these books are like and how they are arranged. And then also you will learn various tips in order to navigate through these books. Again, as I mentioned before, do I start in the index or the table of contents? Again, where do I find what I need to find, and how can I be quick about it? That leads us in nicely to Westlaw and Lexis, the two main legal databases that are used by law firms and legal departments in order to do legal research. Now, Westlaw and Lexis are substantially similar. You learn them both because you don't know what you are going to get in practice. You don't know what you're going to get when you get out there and are working as a paralegal. In practice, Westlaw and Lexis are very expensive. So law firms and legal departments and such usually have one or the other. You will have access to both. For Westlaw, you will have access for the duration of the program. Lexis, you will have it for 1 year from your start date. So once you have completed the program, you can continue to practice on Lexis as you are getting out there into the legal profession. Now, both Westlaw and Lexis, as I mentioned, are very, very expensive in practice. That is why law firms only have one or the other. That is why it is important to be an efficient researcher. In the program, you can log on to Westlaw and Lexis and stay logged on for as long as you want. However, in practice, you are going to want to log on to the site, find what you need to find, and log off as quickly as possible, because all of those costs are, of course, passed along to your client. So certainly if you are working on, for instance, an automobile accident case, you do not want to enter such search terms as automobile accident, negligence, injuries, because both of the sites, Westlaw and Lexis, are going to come back to you and either say, here are the 1 million and plus counting cases that we've pulled up with those search terms, or they're going to come back to you and say, we can't even deal with this, this query because it's too broad. So this is your opportunity to really practice, to see what search terms work, to bring up what you need to bring up, what you can rely upon in your legal writing, and to really get yourself comfortable with these databases. Now, as I mentioned, they are substantially similar. They also have really amazing resources on each site. Both Westlaw and Lexis went through some major updates a couple of years ago, and when they went through those updates, they added just incredible support to assist in navigating the various sites. So we do strongly encourage you to work through the support that is available on the two sites. They offer webinars, they have short videos you can watch. You know, how do I search for a statute? It's maybe a 2 or 3 minute video, but it's really helpful to assist you in finding what you need to find. So both of the sites are incredibly user-friendly. I have a colleague who likes to describe them as Google for lawyers. It's maybe not that easy to find what you're looking for, but they are incredibly user-friendly and do have amazing support and amazing resources on each one of their sites that we do encourage you to use. Okay, and then our final lab on demand, in addition to citations and legal research, is the legal writing lab. Now, there is no reinventing the wheel in the law. If I have drafted a summons and complaint, in my favorite example, an automobile accident case 6 months ago, and a new automobile accident case comes into my office, I'm not going to start from scratch. I'm going to take that old one, take out the old facts, put in the new facts, and polish it up nicely. So with that in mind, we provide you with templates both in the Legal Writing Lab, and also you'll find templates within the resources folder, templates of the various documents that you will prepare in Essential Skills. Now, not only will you find the actual templates, but you can also receive step-by-step instructions in drafting the documents. So you can see over here on the right-hand side, you choose in the drop-down box that you want to draft a complaint. And under that first drop-down box, you can listen to an audio lecture about the complaint. And in the second drop-down box, you can take a look at a step-by-step guide of all of the components that you need to include in your complaint and why. So this is incredibly helpful whether you have a legal background or not. Certainly if you don't, you've never seen a complaint before, you know, you need somewhere to start, you need somewhere to begin, and it's very helpful to have a template to begin. Even if you do have some legal background, it's always helpful to have a template. I've been practicing law now for 16 years, and I used to be able to say I could count on one hand. Now I have to say I could count on two hands the number of documents I've started completely from scratch. I always look to past motions that I've written. I always look to my templates and see what can be used and see where I can start from for the new document. So this is incredibly helpful for you in your legal writing. And then just some other fun stuff on the site. We have a Where You've Been section where you can keep track of where you've been. This is just an area of the site for you, for your convenience. You can use it or you cannot use it. But if you do use it, where you've been will come up as green, and where you have not been will be red. So you can click in here once you've completed a segment to make sure that you've worked through all the support available to you in that particular segment. And then finally, once you have successfully completed the program, we do move you over to a graduate site. It is substantially similar to the main paralegal site that you'll use during the course of the program. You'll have access to the same labs on demand and essential skills support, and we will also post announcements for you with job postings in the community. There are hundreds of forms and templates on here. You'll have the access to continued training and documents and such, and you can take a look at this whenever you may need assistance in practice. Now, one thing I will say is that Duke does not offer job placement, but we do often get job postings from local law firms and law firms in the North Carolina area who are specifically looking for Duke graduates. And as you can see right here, we have lots of postings. So certainly when those come in, we do post them for you, so you may apply for those positions. Okay, as far as completion requirements are concerned, you must successfully complete the Essential Skills core curriculum and each one of the substantive courses. You must complete all class projects, including exams, library research, a comprehensive final, and you must obtain at least 80% cumulative on the substantives, as well as 80% in essential skills in order to earn your certificate. As far as attendance is concerned, you are, of course, expected and required to attend all classes. Certainly, if you don't attend class, you're going to miss a lot of important information. Your instructors get into a lot of content in class, and you do not want to miss that. But the program also adheres to a strict 80% attendance policy in both essentials and the substantive classes. So definitely do make it to class. All right, this one I will do as well before I pass it along to Phaedra. Program admission requirements. You must have either an associate's or bachelor's degree, fluency in English, word processing, basic internet skills, internet access, email, etc. Google Chrome is our preferred web browser. And I won't read all of this Windows XP, Vista, BIT, etc. out loud, but you can see right here at the bottom of this slide, your computer access should meet or exceed the following minimum requirements. Certainly, as you can see, there are a lot of online components to the program. In particular, if you're taking the online program, which Phaedra mentioned earlier on in our session here. But even when you're taking the ground program, there are a lot of online components in regard to working through the study support and such. So what I always like to say is please have a computer that you don't want to throw out the window at your earliest convenience. You want to have a computer that you can reasonably rely upon and be able to work with on a daily basis. All right, now I'm going to toss it back to Phaedra, who is going to talk about application and registration. So Phaedra, all you.
Thanks, Stephanie. So to register, you can visit our website, learn more at duke.edu, and complete the application form, pay the $25 fee, and the deadline for doing that is by the end of the day, August 21st. So also due on that day are all the supplemental documents that you also need to submit to us. And you submit them, most of the time we get them online, we get them via email, and I'll give you that info in just a moment, but you can also mail them. But we do require that you have a resume, and that we will send you a program policy to review, and you will need to sign and return that. And then we also require an official college transcript that shows that you either received your associate's or bachelor's degree. That is due by August 24th. And then we need a letter of reference. And I get a lot of questions about this. The letter of reference needs to be sent from the person who wrote the letter. And it can be a personal reference, it can be a job reference, it can be an academic reference. It doesn't matter, but the letter does need to come from us, to us, from the person who wrote it. And then once you are approved, which hopefully you will be, you must register for the fall program by August 24th. And that's the deadline for that. And then class begins right after that, Monday, August 28th. So pretty soon after that. I do encourage people to not wait until the deadline. It can be hard then to have all the materials ready, and so earlier rather than later is certainly going to be better for you. Next slide, please. Some more about tuition and financing. The program tuition is $53.95. That does not include the cost of books. The tuition must be paid in full with the exception of the payment plan, which I'll discuss in a moment. You must pay and register to begin the program. The books vary in cost between $5.50 and $6.50. You have to buy the Essential Skills Bundle new, but for the other textbooks, you are able to buy them used if you can find them online. That's totally fine. We do have some different payment options. Obviously, you can pay by cash or credit card. We do offer some, well, we don't, but there are some student loan options through Sallie Mae or Wells Fargo. Some employers offer assistance. You should check in with your employer. And MyCAA, which is a program for the spouses of those in the military, is another option that you could pursue. The student loan information you can find on the website, the webpage for the program, which we'll list at the end here. Just so you know, there's more information there and links to the different loans. But you should note that we are a non-credit program, so you do not qualify for federal financial aid. So these would be private student loans that you would pursue. The last option is a payment plan that we offer our classroom students, and in that you pay 1/3 up front when you register. You pay the second third 6 weeks into the program, and then you pay the last third 10 weeks into the program. So it gives you the opportunity to kind of spread out the payments some. Next, please. All right, get started today. Here is the website. Oh, and I just realized we have the wrong email address. My bad in updating that. It's actually, if you send to that email address, Paralegal Summer Intensive, it will come to me. But you can also use paralegal, just plain old paralegal@duke.edu, and that will come to me as well. And then the website learnmore.duke.edu/certificates/paralegal, and I didn't update this because I was blind when I looked at this.
You know what? I clearly was blind when I looked at it too. So, because it's July, we're still, we're in summer.
Yeah, we're still in summer in our hearts.
Exactly.
So it's Paralegal Classroom, but if you just go to certificates and click on Paralegal, you will see all of our paralegal programs, including the online ones. So learnmore.duke.edu, and you can go from there and find everything. So sorry about that mix-up. And I think that we're done here. I think we're ready for questions if anybody has any.
We have absolutely come to the end of the road with our slides and with our presentation. So certainly if anyone has any questions, please do type them into the questions box on your GoToWebinar toolbar. They will pop up on my screen, and I will happily read them aloud for either Phaedra or myself to answer, and then everybody can benefit from the answers. So
And if you think of a question later, obviously, you can always email me, paralegal@duke.edu. My phone number is 919-684-3379. So if you think of something later or there's something you want to ask that you don't want to ask during this webinar, feel free to give me a call.
Yes, and often the most important questions are the ones that you remember after we've logged off for the night. So please do feel free to reach out to us. You know, this is, you don't have to get all the questions in right now. We're always available to answer any questions you may have as we move forward towards the start of our fall semester, or whether you're interested in the online program, or also whether you're interested in one of our future semesters past fall. Phaedra, is there a class size limit?
We usually shut it down, I believe, at 20, but it's usually nothing. I mean, the classes are usually more, more like between, I don't know, 8 to 12 is pretty much the norm. So they're pretty small. You get a lot of one-on-one time with the instructors.
I mean, certainly we don't want you to feel like you're in a huge lecture hall type situation where you can't participate, you can't, you can't ask questions, you can't get your instructor's attention. And also, all of your instructors are practicing attorneys in the Durham area. So, certainly they do not want to go home and grade, 100 summary judgment motions at the end of the day. So, it's we do definitely like to keep the class sizes smaller so everybody can have that individual.
There's a fair amount of class participation too, because the classes are so small. I mean, and class participation is part of the grade. So it's not just that you go in and you get lectured to for 3 hours, so just so you know. So I mean, part of that is that you do actually get to participate in the class and provide feedback as well.
Now, for our next question, Phaedra, I'm actually going to go back a couple of slides just so we have the information right in front of us, or just so we can show it to our participant here. But someone has asked, what does it mean successfully completing the program? Well, as you can see here, as far as the completion requirements are concerned, you will earn your Duke Paralegal Certificate if you obtain at least 80% cumulatively in your substantive classes, as well as in your essential skills classes, and you also adhere to the 80% attendance policy. So if you hit that 80% threshold in attendance and in all of your classes, you will earn the Duke Paralegal Certificate. So that's what we mean when we refer to as successful completion.
Yeah, and so it's 80% for the essential skills, and then each of the substantives you have. I'm sorry, it's cumulative. I always it's 80% for the essential skills, and then it's 80% for the cumulative, as the cumulative grade for all the substantives. So at the end of the day, we'll compute that grade from all 4 of them and whatever that grade is. And then the 80% attendance policy is 80% for the essential skills as well as each of the substantive classes. So it's not like you can, I think the most you can miss of one of the substantives is 1 evening, honestly, because they're so short and because the program is fairly intense.
Okay, any other questions? As we're waiting to see if any final questions come in, Phaedra, any additional or final thoughts that you would like to throw out there tonight?
I don't think so. Just, again, if you think of any other questions, let me know. Our website has, a pretty good summary of and more, goes in more depth about the different things that you will learn in essential skills, for example. So I would also advise you to look there. There's information on the webpage about also about tuition and funding. There's answers to different questions and things like that. So that's a good start, but of course you can always just shoot me an email as well. And if you decide that if you get accepted in the program and you decide you can't attend this session, you have up until a year. So, if you were accepted for the fall, you could still take this spring or summer if you decided to postpone it.
Okay, anyone else? Any further questions? And again, we're always available to answer any questions that may come up after we leave here this evening. I will go back to, I know that's the summer intensive email we'll get to you, so I'll just put it back up there in case someone hasn't written it down yet, but also paralegal@duke.edu. You can get more information and get right to Phaedra with any questions you may have. I don't see any further questions coming in, Phaedra, so it kind of looks like we can call it a night. I want to thank all of you for your attendance this evening, for your interest, for your participation. We look forward to hopefully seeing your names on rosters and faces in classrooms, whether they be ground classrooms or virtual online classrooms. So thank you, everybody. Phaedra, as always, thank you. And
thank you, Stephanie, and thanks everyone for attending tonight.
Yes, thank you so much, and good night, everyone. Thank you.